In this concluding part, I will talk about some ethical questions that concern this neurotechnology. So from the previous portions, you now have an idea that neurotechnology is already progressing at an exponential rate. Like in 2019, Facebook came a step closer in making a wearable that can directly translate speech from your brain. Isn't that really cool thing to have? Just think to speak or just think to write. But give it another thought. You're now letting a machine access and understand your most private data. The data that was never before possible to share without your consent, and that is your thought. So this calls for a new branch in ethics that helps protect your neural integrity. So that's where neuroethics come up. This can be further broken down into three subcategories: privacy and consent, agency and identity, and evolution. Now, there is also a need to define a new kind of privacy, the mental privacy. That's the right to have your thought as your own. As more and more commercial EEG systems and BCI systems are coming into play, your data is being put out there online for others to use, of course in the name of research, but which now raises questions like, where is the data going? Who is using the data? How is it being used? The future in BCI will have brains connected to each other, a human network that can communicate through minds. And so privacy becomes an extremely important concern here, as there is just a fine line left between self and community. The next part is agency and identity. There is a field in neurotechnology where a machine can stimulate your brain for a certain action, which means a machine can now even write to your brain. In this situation, would you be able to say with 100% certainty that what you are doing is your own will, your own action? Let's take an example. Assume there is a neurosoftware that can radically increase human intelligence, and it is to be given to an intellectually disabled person to have a normal life. But what if he does something really disastrous after acquiring that technology? And then he blames it to the technology. How would you trace the line of accountability in this case? Who is to be held responsible? Now consider the previous example again. What if you give this same neuro software to a normal person? What happens to him? Well, he becomes a superhuman. So suddenly from bringing normalcy, the perspective has now shifted to bringing enhancement. But what are we actually aiming for? Are we trying to make everyone equal, or are we trying to make everyone more than what was naturally possible and moving towards an evolution, and a rapid one in this case? And are we even ready for it? So touching upon all these ethical questions today can help us streamline what our future will be. Neurotechnology is a promising field, and we just need to keep checks on it to benefit humanity in the best possible way. So being aware of what all problems there can be should be our way forward in neurotechnology and in technology in general.